All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebony again, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style, and today we have Miss Maria with us. How are you, Maria?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking time on your weekend to share jewels with us. And for those of you that choose to stick around to the end, you'll have an opportunity to earn a complimentary gift. So stick around and let's see what Miss Maria wants to share with us today. So Maria, just so that we get to know you a little bit better, can you share one motivational quote that really inspires you, something that encourages you and gets you going?
Sure. So one of my favorite quotes is by Eleanor Roosevelt, and it's "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams."
Oh, yes. Say that one again. I love that one.
Okay, so it is "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams."
Yes. And belief, oh my gosh, belief is one of the things that really can take you from point A to point Z. And I strongly believe that a lot of times if you think that you can't achieve something, then you probably won't be able to achieve it because you don't even believe you can do it. But if you believe you can do it, you will take the steps necessary to make sure that you get closer to that goal occurring.
Exactly.
We all know that, sometimes it's difficult and we have, circumstances that arise and challenges that get in the way. And sometimes we doubt ourselves, we let fear creep in and we don't make any movement. So can you talk a little bit about a time in your life where maybe you didn't necessarily see the light at the end of the tunnel and you had some circumstances that came up, and at the end of the day, you were able to persevere and actually see that goal or that dream to fruition?
Sure. So when you ask me that, I definitely go back to my graduate school journey. So just to kind of give you a little background, I was able to finish my undergrad in about 3.5 years.
Nice.
So I knew that I wanted to go to grad school right away. I got my undergrad in health science, and I knew I wanted to be in the public health field. So I knew that I wanted to get my master's right away. So I'm from Maryland. I went to college in Towson. So I stayed local because, that out-of-state tuition was not an option. So, what I really wanted to do, I know that I wanted to stay in Maryland. I knew that I wanted to be close to DC and the public health scene here, but I really wanted to kind of spread my wings when it came to grad school and kind of, get out of my comfort zone, go to another state and, kind of learn how to live in an environment where I didn't know anybody. So that was really my goal as far as grad school. So I did my research, I did my visits, and I landed on Boston University. So Boston University has a top 10 public health program. It allowed me to start in the spring.
Maria, your phone went out.
I had found
your
my
phone went out just for a few seconds. Just repeat what you said when you said you went to Boston University.
Okay. So I landed on Boston University. It was the perfect school for me. It was a top 10 public health school. It allowed me to start grad school right away. And I'm not sure if your viewers know, but for a lot of schools, you're not able to start in the winter time. You have to wait until the following May. So all the ducks were falling in the right place. I applied, I got in, and then came the most crucial part, which is the financial aid, or how you're going to finance the next 2 years of your education. So essentially, I did get some aid, but nowhere near what I was hoping to get. Not to be able to fall into a system of loans and debt, which is something that my mother had really, really advised me against, just from her own experience. She really wanted me not to have as little debt as school loans as possible. So I had to make the decision, the sacrifice to give up my dream school in order to essentially have tunnel vision and see what was really going to be the best decision for me in the long run. Was it going to this school and, but putting myself in a position financially where I wasn't going to, I wasn't going to be making a lot of money, for the 2 years, but I was going to be coming out with a ton of debt, or really kind of going back to the drawing board and seeing, okay, how can I reconfigure my dream to also be in line with where I want to be financially? So essentially what I had to do was stay in Maryland. I moved back home with my parents while I got my degree at Maryland while I was working. So essentially I was able to work, not take out any loan at all, and not really have any expenses because I was staying with my parents. And for a while there, and now that I look back on it, it's a ridiculous way to really look at something like that. But for a while, I really felt like a failure because my plan A didn't work out. So I saw myself as failing at something because I didn't get what I wanted. I didn't look at it as, I'm still going to get what I want. It's just not in the path that I thought I was going to get. Yeah. So, so in the long run, it ended up being the best decision for me. I ended up, I ended up coming out with the same degree I would have, but in a much, much better financial position. And, with savings and it just made me a better person. But I think one of the huge life lessons that I learned from that whole experience was how you choose to look at your, how you choose to view your journey. Because when I was looking at it as failure, it really did take a toll on the way I viewed myself, and it wasn't a healthy way to look at something. And, so I really did learn that the way your perception and the way you choose to tackle your trials and tribulations really plays a huge role on how it ends up, in the long run.
Yes, and it really is all about perception, because two people can experience the same exact thing, and you have one person over here that, they're crying doom and gloom and they're miserable, and then you have this other person over here that experiences it, and they're like, okay, well, I'm going through this, but at the same time, I'm grateful for this. And they just go on with life. We are all going to have challenges and circumstances arise in our life. So it's what you choose to do with that challenge in the moment that really strengthens your character.
Yes.
And makes life more enjoyable. Knowing that you're always going to have challenges and circumstances arise. Do you want to walk through life feeling depressed most of the time? Because it's going to happen. So it's your choice. Do you want to walk through life feeling depressed all the time? Or do you want to walk through life feeling like, okay, well, this is a life lesson, and there's always more good and more things to be grateful for than there are things to complain about.
Exactly. Looking back on it, there was so much for me to be grateful for. I was choosing to look at the glass half empty rather than half full.
Right.
And, that's just it's not ideal.
Yeah, it's not ideal when you look back on the years that you spent griping and complaining and feeling depressed and down and out that you could have enjoyed if you just shifted your mindset. Now, that's different when you're talking about, you had a very close death in the family, or you had a chronic illness that, really put you back emotionally. I mean, obviously, there are certain things that you're a human being. So there are certain things that you do need your time to grieve and feel sad and upset and frustrated about. But I think that sometimes, especially people in Western society, some of the things that we really get down and out about, other people wish that they had that to get down and out about.
100%. I could not agree anymore.
Yes. And I think that if I had never traveled outside of the US and really saw what other communities are like and have something to compare it to, I probably would fall in the same trap. But I see that often. A lot of Westerners, particularly people that live in the US, a lot of the things that we complain about and get down and out about, other people will be like, oh, wow, I wish I had that to be down and out about.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be down and out about it,
Yeah. You're absolutely correct.
Can you talk a little bit about how people can gain support? Because that's one of the things that I have noticed in our society, Western society, where people don't always feel like they have the level of support that they need to be able to accomplish their goals and their vision, because we tend to live in this very independent society where people are looking out for their own.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at other cultures, it's very much a sense of community.
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about how people can gain support when they feel like maybe they're alone in this and they don't really have the level of support that they need?
Okay. Well, I think you touched on the fact that we do live in a very independent society. That's all about doing what you can to get to where you want to. And it doesn't really put an emphasis on the people that get you to where you want to be. So in my situation, I was like I said, I was very blessed to have a support system, that saw my vision, saw my goal, and did everything they could to help me get to where I wanted to be. So I don't take that for granted. As far as what other people can do, especially if you're not in a position where you have a lot of family or a lot of people around you who do have that knowledge, there are resources that I think, because we live in such an independent society, we don't stop to think maybe there are resources out there, that could help in terms of getting me to where I want to get. So I think the first step is kind of narrowing down what it is you want.
Yeah.
So really, is it a career? Are you looking for a support group? What is it exactly that you're looking for? And then I personally, I'm a millennial, so the internet is my go-to for everything. So really, once you narrow down that search, you can kind of look within your own community to see, are there any, for example, I'll use church community. That's something that I'm currently looking for that I don't have. And I know specifically that I want a millennial church group, because I've been to churches and I've gone to churches where the audience is a lot older, and I kind of feel that disconnect. So one thing that I've really used is the internet, and I've used, to kind of narrow down my search and see, what churches are near me. And then once I see the churches that are near me, I then look to see what information they have about their groups, and then specifically their age groups. So I think the internet is a huge resource, but I think the first thing is really determining what it is you want, because those are the search tools that are going to help you get to where you want. It's one thing to kind of get on the internet and look and, type whatever in, but if you don't know what it is you're trying to get to, then it's all going to come flooding at you. So I think there are a lot of resources around. So I think just narrowing down what it is you want, and seeing what kind of local support is around to help you get to where you want to get to.
Yes, and there is always support. It's just a matter of, are you okay with stepping outside of your comfort zone to find that support?
Exactly. I'm an introvert, so I do have sometimes I do have trouble in stepping out of my comfort zone and going to new places and meeting new people. So for example, networking is a vital part of your career, getting to where you want to get to, especially in DC. So my master's is in public health, but specifically in health policy. So I joined a young professionals in health policy group that met in DC, once a week. And that was very out of my comfort zone. I didn't know anybody. I had to, go, I live in Maryland, so I had to go to DC every once a week. But really kind of putting yourself out there will make a difference.
Yeah, and I think that the more you do it, the easier it gets too.
Exactly.
Can you talk a little bit about the relationship between self-care and realizing our dreams? Because we know that in order for us to realize our dreams, we need to have the energy and the vitality to do so.
Okay, yes. So self-care, and I think self-care and reaching your dreams, for me, I think is synonymous. Just because your state of mind, I think, is in your mental health is a vital component in realizing your dreams and and reaching your dreams. So self-care can be whatever it is, it means, whatever it means to you. I don't think there's a general broad definition for self-care. I think self-care is whatever it is to you. So for example, for me, self-care really is unplugging from the work environment when I leave work. Right now I'm in a very stressful time period because I work on a publication deadline, which is coming up next week. So I really have to be able to kind of switch that off when I leave work so that I'm not taking that energy and that stress home with me, because then it turns out to be a 24-hour cycle. It affects
Right.
how you are at home, it affects your sleep. And trust me, this is easier said than done. I'm still learning about this myself, how to really unplug when you leave work and, not take any kind of negative energy or stress with you, but really caring about your health, your mental, is vital in realizing your dreams and having a clear head and looking at things, from a realistic standpoint and saying, okay, this is where I am and this is where I want to be. So how am I going to get from point A to point Z? And, really kind of pinpointing that out, but from a clear mindset and really realizing the obstacles that are going to get in your way and how you are going to overcome those obstacles. So just really taking care of yourself is vital in reaching your dreams. I think you can't not take care of yourself. If you want to get to be the person that you want to be and be in a position where you want to be.
Yes, it makes all the difference. And it doesn't even have to take a lot of time. Sometimes it could be as little as 15 minutes a day. You don't have to spend hours a day in self-care in order for it to be effective.
Anything that helps you unwind, and kind of take the stress and the pressure away from your body, I think is self-care.
Yes, definitely. For those of you that feel like you need a stronger community to connect with, I strongly invite you to join my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. You'll see the link in the description box. And we are all about supporting each other in our endeavors. And we're not talking about nutrition from just a food consumption standpoint. We're talking about it from a mind, body, and soul perspective. So if you can't find anybody else that's going to help you in your endeavors, I strongly encourage you to join, and I can help you. And I talked about that if you stuck around to the end of the interview, that you'd have an opportunity to earn a complimentary gift as well. I'm all about personal development and helping people to really see what lights them up, understand their gifts and talents, and how they can put that into this world so that they do live a more fulfilling life. So if any of you are struggling in that area and you would like to take one of my complimentary assessments to be able to gain more focus in your core life purpose, I invite you to join, and I'll provide that to you as well. So there's no excuse why any of us are walking around saying, oh, I don't really understand myself and what value I have in this world. Mm-hmm. Can you share just any last words that maybe you weren't able to share yet to encourage ladies that are listening?
One thing that I learned, the older I get, I'm a few years into adulthood, but it is very important to surround yourself with like-minded people, people who have the same goals, people, not necessarily the same goals, but people that are in line with the type of person you want to be, and people who can grow in the same direction that you're going in. So I just think the company that you keep, I know it's something that my mother always told me when I was younger and went in one ear and out the other, but just having a good group of people around you, people that are like-minded and people that will support you when you're down, because we are human. Yeah. And we get down on ourselves, and society and circumstances, life is hard. So just having people around you that can pick you up when you do fall down is a blessing, and it's something that I wish for everybody.
Yes, and that is so true. If you are in a situation that's difficult for you, a lot of times your goals that you set for yourself are like the last thing on your mind. But if you have that community of people that can cheer you on and provide you with comfort in those moments, you'll find that you're not in those moments for as long because you have that backbone that helps support you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. And for those of you that want to share your story with ladies around the world, please reach out to me. I welcome that. And these messages really resonate with a larger audience than what some people believe. So it doesn't matter what your story is. You could have the biggest tragedy to not really experiencing a whole lot in life. And whatever you share will still resonate with the right person. So I invite you to connect with me and share your experiences as well. Maria, thank you so much for participating. I really do appreciate you and your time. And always remember, wherever you guys are in the world, to remember to live a life full of meaning and purpose. And I hope to connect with you again in my next episode. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Thank you, Ebonie.
You're welcome.